Good afternoon, guys. So I want to talk about something really quickly that is difficult for a lot of non-believers to understand, and sometimes difficult for believers to understand as well. So, free will. And we know in Jeremiah 29:11, God says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to do good and to prosper you. But we also know that he's known us before he shaped us in our mother's wombs. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. So there's all kinds of things in the Bible that tell us about how God has plans for our lives. So we know that God has plans for our lives, right? But we also know that we have free will. And especially for non-believers, they're like, well, which is it? Do you have free will to choose, or does God have plans for your life and you don't have a choice? I'm going to put it to you this way. I think of it, I have a Roomba. Okay, and if any of you guys have ever had a Roomba, you know that that thing is programmed to go around the room. The way your room is, the way your furniture is. But if you have a Roomba, and this is nothing against robot vacuum cleaners, I'm sure they all do it, just Roomba's the one I specifically have, they tend to go rogue sometimes. They tend to not follow the plan. They tend to use their free will to decide where to go at times. Or they get a little glitch in their system and decide to take off on their own when they're not even supposed to be vacuuming. I think of it kind of like that. Yes, God has a plan for us. And yes, if I choose to follow his plan, it's gonna be for my good. It may not always look like it, and I have to trust him at times, but ultimately it is for my good. Except sometimes I go rogue. Sometimes I don't want to wait for God's will anymore. Sometimes I don't want to do what I think it is that God wants me to do. Sometimes I'm just not listening and I'm being rebellious. And I go my own way and I go rogue like the Roomba. And like tends to happen in my house, the Roomba always seems to find the one spot where our little blind dog didn't hit the potty pad and go through that and make a huge mess. So that's usually what I end up doing in my life. And I know I'm kind of in a season where I'm dealing with that now. Sorry, dogs decided to go crazy. I'm kind of in a season where I'm dealing with that now, where I went rogue. I left God's will for my life, and it's a mess. And now I'm having to clean up that mess and getting back into God's will and trying to follow the path that gets me back into the purpose that he had for me. So that's kind of the best way for me to think of free will versus God's will for my life is, yeah, I can go rogue. And when I do, it usually ends up in a mess. And I don't get the best that God had planned for me. I might not even make a mess. It might not even be bad. But it's not the best. So stick with God, guys. Stick with his plan and just trust him. Love you. Have a blessed week.